What's up, you high class hooligans? We have maybe my favorite guest on the podcast today, including Rich. This is my stepwife.
Hello.
So this has been a topic of conversation. I won't say it's been a little bit controversial. It has sparked a lot of conversation on my platforms. The fact that I call you stepwife, first of all.
Yeah.
People are like, what the hell is a stepwife?
What does that even mean?
I know. And it just kind of came to be because I'm the stepmom and you're the ex-wife. So when we married, this is the Brangelina of co-parenting.
Yeah,
So,
I can see that.
So you're my stepwife.
And stepwife, I'm okay with that. It fits.
I love
It fits.
So we're going to kind of have two folds of this podcast, and it may turn out to be two parts, and if so, it is what it is. I don't care. I don't want to heavily edit this because we have so much to talk about. But what I want to talk about first is kind of covering the main points of our relationship and the main questions that we get.
All the time.
Hollie is Rich's first wife and my stepson's mother.
Correct.
And so basically the biggest questions that I get are, how in the hell do we get along so well?
We do get that a lot. I don't know. We're kind of opposite, honestly. You're very outgoing and got a big personality, and I'm just very chill and relaxed, and I'm not, this isn't my thing, like getting out and putting my information out there and talking about things. I just don't do that.
Yeah. You just made your first TikTok today with me.
Made my first TikTok, yeah.
You did good. You're natural.
Thank you.
You're so good at it.
Thanks.
We are opposite in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways I feel like we're similar.
That's true. I mean, you have curtain rods you're going to put up that I have the exact same ones in my dining room.
This happens all the time, though, because, like, I mean, just with Christmas.
This right here.
Exactly.
Our necklace, yeah.
So she gave me a gift, and I opened it and was floored. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, because it's the same line. It's the Swarovski line.
That's right.
I got her the necklace, and I was like, bitch, you already know what your Christmas present is. But that happens over and over. I sent you a text message about a book, and you were like, shut up.
I just downloaded it that morning.
Just downloaded it that morning. And I had just downloaded it that morning.
Yep.
And so it brings me back to a time when, in the beginning, we did not get along.
Right.
So for everybody who thought that this came so natural and we were just besties from the jump, that is not the case.
No.
We hated each other in the beginning. And Rich made a statement, and I've never squared up with a grown man his size, but I thought that was the day. He was like, in another life, if the circumstances were different, you and Hollie would actually be best friends. And I was like, I will fight you.
Yeah.
Right here, 10 toes down.
Oh, yeah.
But he was so right.
I know. And everybody finds it so weird.
I know.
Everybody.
I know. And it took me a while to understand that, because I came from a family where it was so untraditional. Like, anything you could think of that would be weird in the family, we had it, minus interracial relationships.
Right.
I don't know why that was like the one thing of all the things.
Out of everything.
But it was. And so us becoming such good friends was just, it was like, okay, whatever. It's just out of the norm.
It is.
But even friends from back when you guys were young are like, this is really weird. We don't know who to look at.
Of course. Well, I mean, right after the divorce, you always feel like you kind of have to, like, pick sides with somebody, right? So then, like, our friends were like, shit, what do we do? Like, do we go with Rich? Do we go with Hollie? Do we try to stay cordial with both? So, it's difficult. But, I just talked to JT, and he's like, yeah, it's a little fucking weird. But, if it works, it works, But, I mean, think about it. It makes it so much easier, I mean, if I want to take, one of Rich's weekends, or if Rich wants to take one of my weekends, it's easy.
Yeah.
We have a conversation. We don't have to stick by documents from the courts or whatever. It's just, we'll make up time some other day, and, you and I conversate. Usually I reach out to you before I reach out to Rich, because I can get a hold of you easier.
Well, and I do the schedule. Your mama's thinking about you.
Oh, is she? Today's my mama's birthday, y'all. She would have been 71. Yeah.
I just saw that and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
she's like here.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're right. And, well, first of all, the women usually take care of the schedules
Of
and
course.
everything. And you're going to text him and maybe hear back in 2 business days. And it's going to, what is he going to say?
Let me check with Sam.
So,
Yep.
and that does make it so much more convenient. There is a cliche saying that I think people hide behind but don't really adhere to, and it's all about the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Put the kids first. It's all about the kids. But a lot of times I feel like they use that as an excuse to hide behind the kids instead of really forming a true, meaningful relationship. And I get that because I have had to do that on my side.
Sure.
We'll just talk about my side.
Yeah.
And I have tried to form a really close, solid relationship, but for whatever reason, and I may never know, we are cordial and friendly, and I can call and text anytime.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially if it's ever been high conflict, that's all you can pray for. It's like, I just don't want the conflict.
No, absolutely not.
But for us, and especially I think we'll talk about this a little later, is the things that you've been through in your life and the lack of family that I have here, I think is the spurring reason of why we decided we didn't just want to have a cordial, civil co-parenting relationship. We wanted a really close friendship. And so I'm really, really grateful for that, and I'm not sitting here blinded thinking, oh, well, just anybody can have it. No.
It takes work.
It takes work, and it takes swallowing your pride.
Of course.
And your opinions.
Yeah.
And saying, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And moving on.
Yeah. We all have mistakes. We all have pasts, and, you know, it's all about navigating through it and doing the best you can.
Right.
And that's what we did. You know, we navigated through the hard stuff and talked it out a lot.
But I feel like you and I also approached it from an aspect of we kind of removed ourselves as the roles that we were playing.
The ex-wife and the girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
So, example, when we still were not in a good spot, you were seeing, or I guess a guy came over the house. I don't know the details specifically, but I know someone was there.
Yeah.
That Rich knew of, or something that he didn't approve of.
Correct.
And I think he and I had been dating, 4 or 5 months? It wasn't long.
I'm so bad with timelines and time frames. I don't remember.
It was definitely underneath a year timeline.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he got pissed off and was like, I don't fucking, and he was raising hell, and he showed up at your house, and he had Richie. I say we weren't together.
Yeah.
He had Richie, and so you were doing everything so responsibly. Number one, it's none of your fucking business who is at her house. Number two, she doesn't have her kid, so if she wanted to have an orgy up in her house, she totally could. And 3, it's literally none of your, she is a grown woman. She has say-so over her body, her time, who she hangs with, what she thinks. And when I found out that he showed up at your house to escort the gentleman out, I wasn't pissed off that he was over there because you were his ex-wife. Because if you needed him, of course, go over there. I was beyond pissed off because I was like...
Richie was in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Richie was in the car and saw the whole thing.
I didn't even
That's what made me mad. I didn't care about the person that was there. I wasn't mad about anything other than the fact that Richie was there. Richie saw, Richie heard, and he still remembers it to this day. Which, you know, so it kind of sucks that he has that memory, but yeah, I mean, that was a tough one.
Well, I was more pissed that it was like, you can't control her.
Yeah.
She is a grown woman. Like, I was all independent woman, like,
yeah.
playing Destiny's Child. She can do whatever the hell she wants. She is a grown single woman, you know? And he was literally like, what the fuck is happening right now? Because he was catching it, the same thing from both sides.
Yeah.
And I do remember now because I was like, that was so inappropriate, and you're teaching him to control women and all this stuff.
It was kind of a shit show.
And he was like, I think that was the point where it clicked for him, and he was like, I am in deep trouble.
Yeah, because he called me an hour later and apologized.
Yep, I was fit to be tied.
Yep, he was like, I talked to Sam, and I see how it looks, and I was wrong, and I was like, okay. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, we went from that to, and So let's go back. You
Yeah.
guys were together from the time you were 18, right?
Well, we started dating when we were 16. We had like a little blind date. So like my friend was driving, or no, I was driving.
See, I don't even know this story.
Yeah. So I had a car, and then Rich had a car. But then our friends Stephanie and Mitchell were having like a date. So they were like, well, we don't have cars, but our friends have cars. So let's go on a double date. So that's what we did. So that's how we met originally. We dated for a few months. He took me to the airport to go see my family in North Carolina.
This is before or after the teacher?
This is after the teacher. This is after the teacher. I didn't even know about the fucking teacher.
She said, well, I learned something new today.
I did. I learned something. I didn't even know about. I knew about the babysitter. I didn't know about the teacher.
I didn't even talk about the babysitter.
Just saying.
Or the mama's friend.
Oh,
girl,
yes.
Okay, I cannot.
There's a lot there.
Anyway.
There's a lot to unpack there. So, yeah. So, shit, what was I talking about?
So you were on a double date.
Yeah, double date.
Dated for a few
so
months.
we dated for a few months. He took me to the airport to go see my family in North Carolina. When I came back, I just never called him.
You ghosted him?
I ghosted him.
Like
Look,
a player.
I was a hot mess express back then. My dad had passed away, and I was doing all the things that were bad. We listen, we don't judge. Tutu, my stepson's in the room, so
don't judge.
Don't judge them. Don't judge me. Anyways, so, didn't see him for about a year and a half-ish, and then ran into him at a birthday party. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think I told you this story. Ran into him at a birthday party, and I was really drunk. I had been funneling Crown, and I thought it was a good idea to go take my friend home from Madison to Hendersonville, and walked outside, and I saw a car that looked familiar, and it was Rich's Probe. And I saw him walking up, and I looked, and I was like, damn, those rims look awfully familiar. He's like, yeah, I stole them off of a guy that had his car repoed in a bank parking lot. I knew the guy whose car it was, so it was actually kind of hilarious. But anyways, that was when I think we were 18. So 18, we got back together, and then got married at 20. And
so you guys were together for going on 18 years.
18 years.
At the time of the divorce.
Yep.
And I knew none of this.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what happened before me ain't none of my business. I didn't ask any questions.
Right.
Like, I was full, single. Like, I was loving the single life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, slight technical difficulty. We're using new cameras today, so we had a little malfunction. But long, messy story short, without getting into the gritty details, because when you go through a divorce and it's not a clean break, it's not like a clean cut, and so there are always going to be 3 sides to the story. I think in this case there were like 7 sides to the story. And I came in and it just kind of complicated things. And so I think, though, the turning point for us is when you had a heart attack. So walk me through that, because I still don't know the circumstances surrounding that exactly.
Yeah, so Vince wasn't living with me at that time per se. He was kind of on again, off again, like coming 1 week on and 1 week off, because he still lived in Clarksville at the time, which is like over an hour away. And so I was home by myself. You guys had Richie that night, and I just felt off. Like, I felt like something was like really heavy on my chest. It was like going through my back, like up my neck.
Like indigestion?
I still to this day don't know quite how to explain it. It just felt like pressure. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. Pressure. It was just pressure through all the way across, through my back, up my neck, and I felt off. Like, whenever I would lay down, I felt like it was hard for me to breathe. And so I called my parents, and I was like, something's not right. So they came, got me, took me to an ER that was like literally like 5 minutes away from the house. Got there, they ran my blood, they did all the tests, and they're like, just take some Pepcid AC and call your primary on Monday. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, something is off. Like, I don't feel right. Like, I should not be leaving the ER feeling this way and not knowing why I feel this way.
Isn't it infuriating the way that medical professionals treat women?
And what's bad is that I even told them my family history. My dad died of a heart attack at 50. My oldest brother had a quadruple bypass surgery at 38. My other 2 siblings have had heart attacks by 40. Like, It is.
That alone should have been cause for them to go, we're going to investigate further. If there's
Exactly.
anything happening in the chest area, we're going to be safe.
You would think so.
Those mother...
You would think so. So I go back home, and I feel like an idiot for worrying my family, and I sent, my stepdad and my mom home. But then it got worse, to the point where I was vomiting. I had so much pain. And I had talked to Vince, and Vince ended up actually... my parents came back and got me, took me over to their house so they could keep an eye on me. And then Vince actually ended up dropping off the kiddos over at his ex-wife's, and he took the journey up to Hendersonville to check in on me. And I was out on the front or the back patio, and I was just kind of like this, and I was walking, trying to like get the pain to like, go away. And
oh my God.
He looked at me and he said, nope. He was like, we're going to Vanderbilt right now. Get in the fucking car. I know. Literally, like, Vince saved my freaking life. No doubt. So we get there, and they run the tests, and they're like, we're going to send you to the heart cath. And so they sent me to the heart cath, and they tried to go through my wrist, and it didn't work out, so they went through my groin. They get in there, and I had 100% blockage in my LAD. They call it the Widowmaker. Mm-hmm. And the doctor was like, I don't know how you came in looking as good as you did, because most people come in and they're not alive.
Thanks.
I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. I'm a fighter.
That's fucking terrifying.
It was terrifying. So they did a stint, and they've been keeping an eye on me ever since, but thank God. But that was scary. Like, the only thing that I could think of in that moment was Richie, my son.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want him to grow up without me. Like, I was fucking panicking.
Yeah. So bad. I ended up getting this text message from you that, and to this point, we were barely civil.
Right.
If at all.
Yeah.
I sent, when you got the flu, I dropped off
a basket.
A basket with soup and Gatorade and
you did.
Like medicine and stuff. And Rich gets this call, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
I'm like, is it poison? I don't know what's happening.
Like, and he was like, oh my God, no, that's just how she is. I'm like, I would want a basket. And I was like, no, I know what it feels like, you know, when you, like, don't have anybody. And he's like, she has people, though.
Yeah.
It's like, well, now she has me. No, but I get this text message, and it was understandable, but it was like, you know, this is where I'm at, and if I don't make it for some reason, these are the things that, you know, you're going to be Rich's mom at that point, and these are the things I need him to know about me, and I'm standing there in the middle of my house reading this, and all I could think was, absolutely fucking not. How dare you? I don't have to parent this one. I don't have to ground this one. I don't have to, like, get on to him for, I literally get the benefit of being just a stepmom.
Yeah.
And how dare you try to take this away from me? And that's what I was like, absolutely not. This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
You're going to be around to make me miserable for the rest of my life. You better figure out how to get well and get your ass out of that bed.
That's right.
And all I got back was, well, that's not the response I was expecting.
Nope, it was not. And, you know, honestly, I think that was a turning point for me where I was like, you know, let the past be in the past, because this shit is traumatizing. Like, I don't need the stress, you know, and I was like, Richie needs everybody in his life that loves him to be, like, on good terms. And, you know, I don't want the kids to, you know, grow up seeing us, like, at each other's throats. You know, that's not good for them.
Yeah.
So I think that was, like, a good turning point for me as well. Yeah.
And I think also after that, I'm not sure if I'm wrong, correct me, but you realize, like, I literally I do not want to step in and be his mom. And Richie being your only child, and we'll go back, you have suffered so much loss in your life, and I really do believe that's where your empathy comes from, because you lost your dad at 14.
Yep.
You lost multiple friends in high school. I think it was 7.
Yep, it was a lot.
7 funerals.
Yep.
Over the course of
4 years.
That is a lot of loss.
Yeah.
And then you ended up losing one of your best friends in your home.
Yep.
And then your mom passed. And so I only know such a small sliver of that, and I will stand by this. I would not have made it through losing my dad in October if it weren't for you.
I appreciate that.
You were there for me in a way that nobody else could be. And even the people that are really close with me, they haven't suffered that loss of a parent.
Yeah.
And you've really walked me through that, and so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You stuck with me forever. But I think because you lost so much in the 5 miscarriages over the years, you fought tooth and nail to have Richie.
Oh, absolutely.
So what was that like when we finally got pregnant with him and it was a successful pregnancy?
Man, it was amazing. I mean, 5 miscarriages, it'll take a toll on you. It takes a toll on you personally and on your marriage, and, it's not easy. I remember I used to have, I could have had stock in pregnancy tests. Like, I was, like, always, like, every month I'm like, am I? And
you wanted him so
I wanted
badly.
him so bad. And so I remember exactly what happened, where I was, who I was with. Rich was on a work trip to Las Vegas, and he was actually coming in that morning, and I was going to go pick him up. And I had been out the night before with my friend Katie, and I remember I woke up, I went to the bathroom, I went to do some laundry, I saw a pregnancy test, and I was like, meh, why not? I'll try it, right?
Just like that?
Just meh, yeah. So I did, and it came up positive, and I went running into Katie, like, into her face with my pregnancy stick, and I was like, I'm pregnant! She's like, oh my God, get it out of my face!
Is it mine?
So I was so excited. So I actually went to, I think, like a Walgreens or a CVS and bought a big-ass piece of poster board and some markers, and I put, welcome home, we are pregnant. And I had taken, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 more tests just to make sure. And so...
Did you tell me you glued them to the poster board?
Oh, my God. No, I did not. I had them in a Ziploc bag.
You should have.
I should have.
Pea sticks everywhere.
No, I had them in a bag. So... Rich came out, and he was pissed because I guess they had broken his luggage or something, and I held up the sign and with the pregnancy sticks in my hand, and I was like, but look. So we were super excited. We told the whole family, and of course they were super stoked. And
now he's the first grandchild.
Yes, yeah, and he was really the only boy in the family, so we were like super hoping for a boy, right? Yeah. Like, a girl would have been great, but right. A boy was like what we really wanted, right? Yeah. So when we found out it was a boy, of course, we had to name him, Rich. So
of course,
that was a thing. But Richie was my little angel baby, and so he's like my little soulmate, Like, I love him to pieces. And when you came along, I was like, fuck this bitch.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Well, and you do. I mean, you had to go through it too, and. The other side, they had to go through it.
For me, I wanted so badly to be her bestie, and she doesn't want that type of relationship, so I have to rein myself back in.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate because their dad and I have a really, really open, strong co-parenting relationship now, where we can just pick up the phone and talk and, update each other on things that are going on, even if they're not including the kids,
of course.
Things that will affect the kids that we're going through, we also share. And so I think we're honestly the whole fucked up Brady Bunch situation works real well for us.
Yeah.
And that's why we won't sell the house and move into a bigger one, because we love being so close.
That's right.
So central to everybody, and it just everybody's schedules work. We figured it out.
Yeah.
So
we did.
And so I came along, and I think, understandably, you were like, is she going to try to step in and parent this child? Which happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
It's very common.
Women will step in and, this is going to be possibly controversial. I know I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this next statement, and I don't care. I really don't care. Women will step in, and because of animosity between them and the biological mother and the father, because you have to remember there are always 3 sides.
Of course.
That they'll step in and try to play mom, And on the flip side of that, a lot of dads shirk responsibility once another woman steps into the picture.
Yeah.
They'll go, oh, well, she's here now. I don't have to take on the responsibilities of, scheduling or co-parenting or good communication or even discipline. Discipline is such a big one, and that was a big thing. Was one, Rich is the parent in the house, not me.
Yeah.
And same with my kids. I'm their parent, not you.
Right.
I will hand down all discipline. And the big thing was, we have to be on the same page.
Of course.
So you have to over-discuss. Love is not enough.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Love is great, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
If your standards and your morals and your everything has to align.
Yep.
And then it has to align from one house to another.
Oh, yeah, and then you have the other side as well that you have to...
It's so messy and it's so difficult, and that's why good communication is the key.
It is key.
To raising these kids with minimal therapy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, anytime something's going on with Richie, I always keep you guys in the loop. Always. Mm-hmm. Even the uncomfortable stuff. You know, he's coming into puberty. You know, I get woken up at midnight with him asking me questions about life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you talk to your father about this?
Girl, so, same thing. If they come, Noah 15, he's one. I was like, we don't talk to mom about that. You can scoot right in there and talk to that man, or you can wait and save it for your dad.
That's right.
I am not that.
But you talk to each other about it, you know?
No, we don't.
You don't?
Hell.
No. I mean, like, you tell. Yeah. Like, hey, by the way, heads up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Exactly. No, but see, we have our boundaries.
Yeah.
We know where we stand.
Yeah.
If ever, I'm like, Hollie, you need to come get this one.
Yeah.
He's doing a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that's where we're at right now, is where we have moved past the tumultuous part of our relationship, because we both were so willing to swallow it, forgive, understand,
of course,
be mature, and go, okay, we're moving on. It's never going to be perfect, but here's where we've got things in common. Yeah. And that's when the uncomfortable conversation came from. The guys were like, this is a little weird. Rich is like, I used to live in this. We go and have pool parties out here. So we're just like, I installed those lights. And I'm like, that's really cool. Why haven't you done that at our house?
But he only lived there for a little bit.
That's true.
Just a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you and Vince have done such an amazing job at making it your own, and it's such a reflection of y'all's styles together.
It is.
I love that.
It's like a blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've learned how to celebrate each other, and we've learned how to clap for each other. And you guys have made some huge changes, not just with the house, but in life. And so we moved past that, and it took a while for the family to come around to it.
Yeah.
Because they sided with you big time.
Yeah.
They hated me.
It was rough for you with the family for a bit. Yeah.
And so the girls came around first.
Yes.
His sisters.
Yeah.
Once they realized it wasn't a choice of we have to either choose Sam or Hollie.
And they didn't have to.
No, not at all. And once you and I started proving that this isn't just a phase, we really have built a solid foundation and a friendship.
Yeah.
And then the people involved in our lives were like,
wait a second,
is it safe?
Yeah.
Like testing the ice, And so now you're like my security blanket. I'm like, if you're not going to the family function, I'm not going to the family function, bitch.
Hey, are you going to be there on Sunday? I'll be there too.
No, they like you better.
Oh my gosh.
You got to show up. Walk in before me.
Yeah, right? I'll be your little,
I'm
coverage.
Beside you. But it's the same thing at the school. If for any reason we have to go to the school for Richie, they just see a pack of parents walking out, and they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, they get a little worried.
Yeah, they're like, all four of them?
Yeah, hell
Same
yeah.
time?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Exactly.
Which I love. I think that's great.
Yes, and I think that we have figured out our flow and our cadence, and I know when to fall back. I can kind of read the room of when you're having intense conversation with Rich, and it's like, okay, this is a fundamental conversation that's going to affect the next phase in Richie's life. I'm going to lay back.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because you and I do talk so often, it's more comfortable for you to talk to me, but it's more appropriate to talk to him. And I have to remind him, you're the parent, not me.
Yeah.
Step up.
Yeah.
Respond to the text message.
Yeah.
And because he would just let us do everything.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's easy, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I will say there was one time we were out on a hike and with the kids, and that was rough for me. Richie was having a rough time, some stuff that he had learned in school.
Yeah.
and he was trying to navigate it through his brain. Like, he was just having a rough time, and he broke down and told me about it, and it honestly kind of scared me a little bit, to the point where I called Rich, and y'all were out. I think you were getting like pedicures or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, this is what's happening. This is it's worrying me. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to have a conversation. Like, we need to get together. And literally within an hour, you and Rich were at the house with me and Vince, sitting on the couch with Richie and, talking through it with him. And that is what it's about. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Do you mind if I just give a little bit of context?
Yeah, of course.
It's revolving around mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
And anxiety, mm-hmm. and compulsive thoughts, which is something that you and Rich had never dealt with. Mm-mm. Any kind of mental health issues.
No. I have a fuck it bucket that I use. If it bothers me, I put it in my bucket and I just say fuck it.
I love you. You're so well balanced. Jesus. I had to pay a lot of money in therapy. I have a lockbox.
Yeah.
She's a crazy bitch. But once Rich broke out in tears, of course, because it's involving his baby, his only. And so immediately I was like, you don't have all the info, Yeah. And I think I may have been the only calm one in that situation.
Yeah, I think all of us were crying.
But once he better explained what was going on, it was just anxiety and mm-hmm. compulsive thoughts.
That's it.
And I was like, this is doable, man, And I loved, one, that I was able to help, because a lot of times as a step parent, we want to step in so badly mm-hmm. and fix the situation, but our hands are tied. But this being a situation where I was the only one involved that had experience, and then you were like, okay, I'm listening.
Absolutely. I gave you the floor at that point. I was like, please.
A lot of parents would be very defensive and go, no, I'm the mom. I'm going to fix it. Yeah. But that was the most incredible display of love towards Richie and trust. And I was like, oh, don't fuck this up, bitch.
I know, because it is hard to give the reins to somebody that's, a motherly figure that's not you. Yeah. Giving that advice, and helping your child, when all you want to do is be the one to help them. But in the end, Richie felt better. Yeah. And whoever it came from, I didn't care. I wanted my baby to feel better, right? Yeah. And you had the knowledge, and you set him on the right track, and I'm forever grateful for that. I know after y'all left, like, I looked at Vince and I was like, I wish I could have done that for him, but I'm so fucking thankful that Sam was here for him. Yeah. That was...
But now you can. If at any point in the future he comes back with this, you go, oh, we've been here. Yep. I know how to handle this.
Exactly.
And I also love that now you understand where mm-hmm. I come from a little better, mm-hmm. having seen it firsthand with your child. And maybe that's the closest you can get, rather than experiencing it for yourself. Right. Because there are days that I reach out to you and I'm like, oh, I'm spiraling. Yeah. Can we just have dinner? Like our monthly dinners,
exactly. Which we have monthly dinners. We always sit and go somewhere, have drinks, some food. But we also chat a lot during the week, Yeah. And that's tough as a grown-up, you don't have a big circle anymore. As you get older, your circle gets smaller, Yes. And I don't have very many people that I can reach out to and discuss, hard life things with. If I'm struggling, I usually keep it to myself. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to text you and call you.
I think if you boil it down to the key to our relationship is we're able to separate ourselves from the role of bio mom and stepmom.
Absolutely.
When we're not in those roles at the moment, mm-hmm. we can step outside of it and go, I'm just a mom. Mm-hmm. I am a wife. Now we're both business owners. Yeah. And this industry, this side of it mm-hmm. better than anybody. And so there are many times that I just go, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. Yeah. And you get it.
Yeah, of course I do.
And I try not to bitch about Rich too much because I know that probably makes you uncomfortable, but it does happen. Yeah. And then you go, sounds about right. Yeah. So
and I think the men think that we actually have big conversations about them, but we really don't.
It's not about you.
We really don't.
It's mostly like hair and nails and fashion and kids and I'll be like, I'm gonna quit my job.
Which I did.
You did. I'm so proud of you. And that's the thing. We're so different, but we are so similar. Mm-hmm. We're different, like you said. You're real laid back. You're so nonchalant. I'm all the chalants. And, I'm like, fucking quit your job. You walk in there and you demand them to treat you with respect.
Yep.
And you were in a very chauvinistic, male-dominated business as well. And you finally did. I did. Stood up for yourself, and you were like, you can't treat me like this. Mm-hmm. And you left.
Yep. After 23 years.
After fucking... that is a marriage. A narcissistic marriage at that.
I know. Yep.
And you struck out, and you and Vince now have...
Cuban Cracker Family Kitchen.
Wait, we need to insert some music here. Just pretend like there's
That's
music.
right. Exactly. So, yeah.
So tell me about the name Cuban Cracker. I love the way...
It could go a few different ways. Let's just be honest. So, the first one, Cuban crackers are actually a staple. Like, if you go into, like, a grocery store in Miami, there's, like, 2 fucking aisles of Cuban crackers. And I don't understand it because they're just, like... I'm sorry, cardboard to me. I don't like them.
Oyster crackers?
No, they're just like these like oval looking crackers, and they're just very bland. But they put like butter on them and maybe dip them in their like Cuban coffee. Like his mom, that's what she does for breakfast. She'll take her her little Cuban crackers, and she'll put them in her coffee, and they'll get soggy, and then she just eats it out of the coffee.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pause. Cuban coffee?
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's jet fuel.
It is. It's amazing.
They make these little bitty cups of Cuban coffee.
Yeah.
And you can see sounds after drinking. You can't, like, drink a cup of this, like an American-sized cup.
Yeah.
These are, like, fucking
tiny little 2
keys to the universe. Yeah. And they're delicious.
Oh, yeah. Super yummy. I mean, literally, once you have it, you want it again and again and again. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what I think it was invented for? If you get drunk and you need to sober up real fast.
It'll do it.
You do a couple shots of those, and you're like...
Yep. Exactly.
It's like a factory reset.
It is. It is. I mean, we have people in the neighborhood. Are you doing Cuban coffee today?
I'll be back 6 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you should do like a roadside.
We should, right? Oh my gosh. Well, we're waiting to get our coffee machine. So once we get our coffee machine, we're going to put that thing on the truck and.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing. Okay, so Cuban Cracker was birthed, and you say.
What do I say?
Oh, how you were introduced. But no, this is a funny story.
Oh, with the Cuban Cracker.
Yeah.
So, and then another thing is that, like, my husband's Cuban, and I'm white, so, Cuban Cracker. So, it goes hand in hand. We actually have people come up to the truck sometimes, and they'll go, Cuban Cracker, and he's like, I'm the Cuban, and then the people will look at me and go, oh, I get it. I see.
I love it so much. You guys are the cutest. And you have zero Spanish in you, or
nope, nothing. I am like as white as you can get.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you now have been known as the flan maker.
Yes.
You're kind of famous in our area.
I know.
As the queen flan maker.
It's so weird how that happened. Like, I used to like to bake and do, like cheesecakes and cookies and just brownies. That's a whole other story anyways, I could do things, right?
Yeah.
Never in my life would I thought I could do the flans and the pastelitos, which are like these little puff pastries and stuff like that. So when we go to Miami, we always go to Vicky Bakery. It's amazing. They've got all the, don't make fun of me because I'm the white person. I'm the cracker of the Cuban, and I say things really funny. The croquetas, it's basically like these like mushy ham pastries with like, it's almost like a mozzarella stick. But inside is like this like mushy ham consistency. Inside, but it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy. I know. And then tacaños, they're like, stuffed with cheese. Anyways, it's so good. We go there every time. But, I know I'm not going to be a Vicky Bakery, but
no, you're going to be a Cuban Cracker.
And that's true. They're hands down the best.
Yeah.
The best. We sell out every time.
I love the story of another one of our friends, Rachel. She walked into her friend's house because she's Cuban.
Yeah.
And she walked into her friend's house with a flan. Yeah. And she it was like the Lord was calling her. And she was like, is that one of Hollie's flans? It's like she clocked it. She knew where it was from.
Oh my gosh.
But talking about the Cuban truck. So you guys have a food truck.
Yeah.
And you started this not too long ago.
In October. So a few months ago.
Which is, a lot of people would say, a really bad decision because of it being wintertime.
The cold months.
Right, and that's a lot harder on a food truck business. However, one, you can do online orders and pick it up from the truck.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to stand outside in line.
We'll text you when it's ready.
Two, you guys are the only Cuban food truck, right?
Well, we found out recently there's another one, but they don't make the things that we make. They don't make it the way we make it. Like our pork, we roast it for like 12 hours. Oh, we pull it apart, we shred it, we put the mojo on it. It's delicious.
You guys post these videos, and it's like scraping the crust of the meat with the tongs, and I'm like, it is literally food porn.
It is.
And immediately I'm like, God damn it, I'm hungry.
I need a Cuban sandwich.
No, it's so good. So the first experience I had with Vince was we were coming over for a birthday party. And Rich was like, oh, I guess Vince set the backyard on fire.
Oh, so that was when Vince proposed to me. So this was a different time.
Okay, gotcha.
So he set the yard on fire for my birthday. He set it up as a birthday party, and he had the cajachina. So the cajachina, what you're talking about, is like a big wooden box.
Okay.
And we order a whole pig.
Yes.
And we put the pig in there, and we roast it and all that stuff. And
it is amazing.
It is so good.
It's like a festival in your backyard.
And you smell it. You can smell it like through the whole neighborhood. It's just like people are like, let me find the smell, I'm coming over.
Oh my God, I love it. But that's very much the Cuban culture.
It is.
It's everything is community, everything is family, food and family and friends and fun.
Yep.
I'm going to call it the 4 Fs.
Not right? Exactly.
No, but it's such an experience. And I heard something, Jess told me this quote, and I feel like it applies to you guys.
Okay.
You eat with your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The presentation, when you see the pig, and it's, I watched him prep it one time, and I was like, I am so excited to eat this.
It is so good. And then you get the Cuban bread with it. So yummy.
My mouth's watering
I know.
I love this. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's right. Exactly.
No, but you guys have it's like a vibe. The whole food truck is a vibe. It's very lively, and there's music, and there's family, and there's the food is, we don't even have to say it's good. It's incredible.
Everybody has to check it out.
It is fantastic, and we're going to leave all of the info about that. But you walked away from a 23-year career in, what is that?
It's like an electronics company.
Yeah.
But, I was doing a little bit of everything from customer service to buyer to corporate sales. I was there for a long time, so I kind of knew a little bit about everything, right? Every aspect of the company. But it just got to the point where we had already opened up the food truck. We were only doing it maybe 2 days out of the week just because, Vince still has his 9 to 5 and I had mine. And we just I said, fuck it. I got tired of the bullshit. I got tired of being treated the way I was. And I actually called you the day that I was thinking about quitting. I called you. I called Vince. And I called my stepdad, and I was like, I need somebody to tell me no. And none of y'all did.
Couldn't find one.
Not one.
Not one no was given. No. We were like, fucking leave.
Yeah. Vince was like, I support you, whatever you want to do. And that's what I did.
Yeah. And you've hit it so hard. I'm so proud of you. You've stepped out of your comfort zone.
Big time.
And done public speaking really for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been big on that. Like, this is not my jam.
Yeah.
It makes me feel very uncomfortable. So going to these meetings where, you're networking and you're having to stand up and publicly speak to people about who you are and your business and, basically you're selling yourself and your business to people, right? I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
That is not for me. So I'm definitely stepping out of my comfort zone, and Vince has actually been kind of pushing me. He's like, you know what, you go do this networking. Let me see how you do, right? And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
No, but I feel like you're the more approachable of the two. Vince is awesome, but he's also kind of grouchy.
But you know what? It's so funny because I was proud of him. The other day, he stood up and he spoke about Cuban Cracker. And the thing is, Vince is very to the point. Right?
I literally was about to say, I could envision how this goes. Him standing up there going, what's up? We have a food truck. Eat it or don't, fuckers.
That's right. Exactly. That is so right.
He's over there going,
yep. That is him. You're going to fucking love it.
No,
So,
he did.
It is.
Good job.
He's like, he told me the other day, he said, you're the more professional one. He's like, I'm the Miami guy. You know, I just don't give a fuck. You know, and it's true. You know, so that's, yeah.
No, you are doing great. You're such a great face for the company because you are bubbly and approachable and you are extremely intelligent. So how do you feel like what you learned from your previous career? I'm trying so hard not to put them on blast. I don't want to cease them to sales. No, but it wasn't all bad. And the company culture there, you were a big part of their company culture. Yeah. All the messages that flooded in that were like, oh my gosh, we're going to miss you so much. You definitely listened anytime anyone needed to talk, and you were such a huge support. So, but the 23 years there and leaving, what do you feel like has helped you? What did you bring into this now ownership of a food truck, which seems so polar opposite?
It is. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing, multitasking. That's the biggest one. I mean, food trucks are no joke. They are definitely a labor of love. You don't realize how much goes into it, honestly. I mean, you're not working just that 4-hour event span, right? You're actually prepping, you know, the night before. You're, you know, working the event. Then you're having to clean up everything. You know, it's like a 16-hour thing, you know, like it's a lot.
Every time you open that window, it is minimum 16 hours. Yep. Because you guys don't skimp on anything.
No, and we have the best quality. You know, if something's going to be cheaper, we're not getting it because it's cheaper. Right. We're going to get what's quality because quality is going to bring people back. Yeah. You know, and
now, that's why it pissed me off so bad when I read that, what that loser wrote, and he was like, if I'm going to pay sit-down restaurant prices, then, you know, I'm going to go to a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah. Well, then go and get 3 tacos at fucking Taco Bell for $15 and see what that does for you. Because I guarantee you, our Cuban sandwich is going to smash those tacos.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Like Vince said, we'll pop out a chair for you.
Please do not go on their page talking shit because Vince will hurt your feelings.
In a heartbeat.
And we will all like his comment.
Absolutely.
Do not play. No, I think it is so worth it when you get back to the basis of serving your community, good quality ingredients, and putting love into every plate that you make.
Everything.
You guys don't do it to get rich or for the fame or whatever, which I hope you get all of that. I hope that you have 10 trucks out there. Yeah. But the Cuban community, what have you seen? Is there a large Cuban community here?
Oddly enough, it's a ton of Florida people. It's so funny, literally. So I am the one at the window, right? Yeah. Vince and Jenny and Cindy, which Jenny is Vince's niece, and Cindy is his sister, so it literally is a family thing. So they're usually on the truck with us, but, you know, they're the crazy ones in the back popping off, and I'm the southern face, you know, trying to be all nice, professional and everything, but people come up and they'll be like, who's from Miami? And I'm like, literally the whole truck but me.
Can't you tell?
Yeah, and it's so funny because they'll be from Florida, and oh my gosh, we miss the food, and we can't find anybody like you, and, you know, my abuela used to make this for me, and it tastes, you know, just like what she would make, and she would approve, and those are the best things. We love to hear that, right? Because that, you know, literally lets us know that we're doing it right.
What I love is that your subdivision and community is a lot like the one we live 5 minutes down the road from each other. So literally. It's like white communities, pretty much. Majority white. Yeah. We have a very small minority representation, which I hope that changes soon because, God, we need to shake things up. But your community has welcomed him with open arms. Oh, yeah. And fallen in love with the cuisine. Yep. Every time y'all pop up in your neighborhood, it sells out. Oh, yeah. People are messaging, like, you'll cook on a Tuesday night. Yeah. And it'll be gone in 30 minutes. Yeah. All you do is, like, post online. Yep. And, like, oh, yeah, we're making such and such.
And they're there. Lines.
And now you've started doing family meals.
We are. So we're doing, like, family meals during the week. So you want to do some breaded steak, some breaded chicken, or some ropa vieja, we'll set it up for you.
Yeah. Like, when you're thinking of... So we have 2 nights a week we eat out. And one of those nights is with the kids, and one of those nights is without the kids. So we let the kids choose. And then the night without the kids, it's like, I'm not cooking. Yeah. I cook literally every other day of the week, except for usually either Chinese or pizza night. Yep. And so if you're going to order anyways, this is homemade, healthy, delicious. Like, shake it up a little bit.
That's right. Exactly.
And it's really not that hard.
No. And I mean, we have people that are just regulars. I mean, no matter where we're at, they're going to show up. We've got people from, an hour away coming to see us just to get the food because they can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
But
people are turning into such foodies in this area anyways. They will drive an hour.
Absolutely.
Even if it's like a barbecue joint because they want to try a new barbecue joint.
Exactly.
I love that about this area. They're starting to really appreciate more of like the arts and the food, the culinary arts. And I just love that so much. So what are kind of the next plans in this season of food truckery?
Right now we're just trying to push catering.
Cater, that's right.
Yeah, we're trying to push catering for events, birthday parties, like workplace events, stuff like that. And really
do it all.
We do it all. We do whatever you want. You call us and we got you.
I could see like a spring wedding, boho themed, like just loud music, bright colors, fun, and this delicious Cuban food being the center of attention at the reception.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I love that so much.
Yep, put a little palm tree over there, give you a little Caribbean vibe.
You could do like the fronds and the lights in it. Girl, don't play with me.
We'll be talking about this later.
Okay. I love it so much.
We'll put it up in Elite over here and
test
it out.
You guys are actually gonna start parking here and serving food out of. I'm so excited. Listen, I'm just gonna be hanging out over there. Like, let me taste that. I'll be right here. You got no extra.
Where'd Sam go? Check outside.
No, it's gonna be so bad. I can already tell.
I know.
But okay, so tell everybody where they can find you.
You're gonna go to CubanCracker615.com. You can email us at info@CubanCracker615.com. Socials at Cuban Cracker 615.
Everywhere is Cuban Cracker 615.
615.
I love that so much.
That's right.
Holly, thank you for coming today. I know I kind of had to coax you into it and do a lot of. She wasn't sure what she was going to expect.
No, Sam didn't tell me anything she was going to ask me, so I was like, oh shit.
And you gave me the don'ts. And which I wasn't going to ask any of that anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. And I hope that we're gonna come back, wrap around as the kids get older.
Yeah.
Because right now we survived Noah, and Richie is now in the place that Noah was in.
Yeah.
And I've discovered between the ages of 13 and 15, I'm not involved. I'm not an active parent.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah. Stay away. Go in the corner.
Yeah. So I throw food at Richie and go, what's up, dude?
Yeah. Go to your room.
And it makes me sad because Titus is going to be there next.
He is. Before you know it. I know. I'm just trying to like grab Richie as much as I can and be like, just love me. Just love me. Because I know in the next year he's going to be out with his friends. Nothing to do with mom. So I'm trying to like soak it all in while I can.
Oh, girl. Listen, but then they wrap back around. They hit that.
Yeah.
But then like where Noah's at now, he's like, wait just a second.
But Mom, I want to go to lunch.
But Mom, can you buy me these shoes? And I'm like, absolutely. You have to spend the afternoon with me.
Yeah.
Girl, don't play. I will blackmail him in a heartbeat.
You have to. I know.
I will absolutely give you $50. Spend some time with me. Whatever.
That's right. I gotta learn that tactic.
You pay for everything, right?
Amen to that.
But anyways, all right. So everybody go check them out. Follow along on their journey. Show them some love. Leave a word of encouragement. But mostly sharing their business is free. Free support, free love. Doesn't cost you a thing, but means the world to them. So I love you guys so much. We're going to go have some lunch. See you next time.
See you later.